New York, Monday afternoons, Richard Staples through until 3 o'clock. And we're looking at photography, and particularly black and white photography. There's a one-day course coming up in a few weeks' time, which I can tell you a bit about. And we have the tutor, Simon Palmer, who's here to talk about it, and talk about the ways of doing photos. Because, we've got these phones now that I think the last thing they do is actually make a phone. The afternoons, Richard Staples through until 3 o'clock. And we're looking at photography, and particularly black and white photography. There's a one-day course coming up in a few weeks' time, which I can tell you a bit about. And we have the tutor, Simon Palmer, who's here to talk about it, and talk about the ways of doing photos. Because, we've got these phones now that I think the last thing they do is actually make a phone call. But there's they can do some good photos. We were just talking to Simon earlier. Never easier to take a phone call, but they're not that wonderful sometimes. So how do you go about getting a good photo, making a good photo really great? What do you need? What skills do you need to know? Well, Simon joins me now. Simon, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
What is it, first of all, about black and white photography that appeals to you?
Well, it just looks better. And the quote I often give people is from Sam Fuller, a film director, who said, "Life is in colour, but black and white is more realistic." And it's obviously nonsense, but there's something about that when you see a photograph in black and white, it can be more evocative and more timeless, I think. It doesn't age. When you have it on that wall, whether it's a portrait or a landscape or whatever, it looks good, it looks classy.
There's an atmosphere about them, isn't there? Somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, it is different to colour. Again, an example I use is if you're photographing an orange, a fruit, if you're doing it in colour, all you're concentrating on is the brightness of the orange and getting it so it looks a bright orange colour. If you do it in black and white, immediately you're looking at the texture of the fruit, and that's what you focus on. It's a totally different object in black and white colour. So you have to look at things in the black and white frame of mind when you're out on the street, as it were. I
mean, lots of people now are using kind of phones and DSs and all sorts of kind of equipment to take photographs, and I guess people less and less people are buying cameras as such to take those photographs. Can you do a good photo with a little kind of phone here?
I would say you can. I've exhibited a lot, and I've actually exhibited a couple of pictures I've taken on my phone over the years. And my key message would be that the camera isn't that important. The quality now of cameras is amazing. So even the cheapest one, and that might even be one on your phone, can give you fantastic quality. And what's more important is what you take, how you take it, rather than what you take it with. So, I mean, obviously cameras are important, and having a good lens can make all the difference. But if you see something worth taking and you've got your phone with you, take a picture of it, and then you can make sure that you crop it and use software to get a good picture at the end. But
so as much of it is the work after you've taken the photos.
Yeah, it is
the raw material.
Now. Yeah, I mean, I don't sort of spend hours on Photoshop moving people's heads around and changing dogs to people and so on. But I do use software to crop a picture. That means to cut out the bits you don't want, and to adjust sort of contrast and brightness to get it just how you want it. And if you do that carefully, then whatever you're starting with, and that could be a phone, a photograph shot on a phone. It doesn't matter so much.
With all those kind of cropping skills and the kind of software that's around, do we need to worry so much about the kind of composition of the picture?
That's interesting. I still can't quite bring myself to fire off hundreds and hundreds of shots, even though they don't cost anything when it's digital. Yeah. I'm still thinking back when it was film and you have to really treasure each frame. And I think
you've got 4 left on the film.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think being a bit careful is fine. And what I do say to people is when you're taking the picture, when you're looking through the viewfinder, really look at what you've got in there and make sure you only have what you want. So quite often you'll see people photographing someone standing outside the Minster, and they'll be standing like 30 metres away from him, and you know the picture will just be a big lot of Minster with a tiny little person.
Yeah.
All you need to do is get it really close, get low down, shoot up, get the person's face with the Minster behind. Suddenly you've got a really dramatic, interesting photograph. No harder to do than standing miles about with all the other tourists. So
now this course is all about black and white photography, isn't it? Are there different considerations? We talked about kind of texture rather than colour, obviously. Are there different considerations with...
Yeah, I think it's, in some ways, I like it because it's simpler. So once you've got your image, what you're really interested in is sort of contrast between the black and the white and brightness. And you can use filters, which I cover, but that's a minor part. Really, it's not as fiddly as adjusting colour, where you're worrying about the temperature of the colour and the white balance, all sorts of things that affect a colour photograph. Black and white, I think, is a much purer thing. You're really just adjusting the image, in a small way, and you end up, if you've taken a good picture, you can get it printed out quite easily.
And can anyone learn to make a good picture, or do you need to have a certain talent or skill?
What can I say? I think everyone can learn to do the best they can. I mean, the thing is,
did you work for the diplomatic corps?
Everyone can improve, I think.
Yeah,
and what I aim on this workshop to do, and other workshops I've done, is to allow people to be creative, and not to be embarrassed or shy about their pictures, because they think, quite often I remember people would be showing me their holiday snaps and then say, this one's a bit arty, you won't like that one, and it's the best of the bunch, and it could just be a photograph of a brick wall, but if it's done well and it says something, that can be really good. So it's giving people the confidence, really, to say, I want to take a picture, I want to be creative, I'm going to do it. And
can you ever get a good picture of yourself arm's length for your photo and smiling at it? Has it ever worked?
Yeah, it can. Anything's possible.
There's a challenge. And you'll teach people that on the course?
No, probably not that, yeah.
So tell us details about the course. It's coming up in a couple of weeks' time, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got it here. It's on Saturday the 4th of February. It's from 10 to 4 p.m, 10 in the morning to 4 p.m.
Right.
And it's at Space 109... Community Arts, which is in Warmgate. Do you want the phone number?
Yeah. Was there an email address?
Yeah, phone number and email. The phone number is York 612 790.
Yep.
And the email is contact at space 109. That's digits. Yep. .org.
Okay. So that phone number again: 01904 612 790. But if you want to give us a ring on 01904 641 641, we have the details there as well. Simon, thank you for coming in and joining us. That's interesting and intriguing. And no longer will we be finishing off the film either with those kind of pictures of the dog asleep on the carpet and all that type of thing. Simon, thank you very much.
Jonathan Cow.